What's going on, you guys? Jesse Kell, the Collecting Nerd here, back with another video. For today I'm going to cover the Jimi Hendrix Experience's legendary debut album, Are You Experienced? The album was first released on May 12, 1967 at the height of the Summer of Love. The version I'll be reviewing is the United States version released on August 16, 1967. Of course, you guys know this iconic cover with a different it's definitely more iconic in my opinion than the UK version, and yeah. The cover was designed by Carl Ferris, who's a photographer, and he ended up doing the US covers for Electric Ladyland and Axis Bold as Love, which are the other two Experience albums. But with that out of the way, let's get right into the review. Starting off with Purple Haze, there aren't many groups whose debut albums begin with their most iconic song. The Guns N' Roses with Welcome to the Jungle and Boston with More Than a Feeling are the first two that come to mind if you don't count Purple Haze, but Purple Haze is definitely Hendrix's most iconic song. It's the one that's introduced more people to him, and it's the one that just brought more fans. So it gets a 9 out of 10 in my book. Manic Depression, as someone who listens to music more than the average person, sometimes as a way to keep myself in the right frame of mind when I'm having a bad day, I can relate to this track as it's about music in a way to be a saving grace, in a sense, and I felt like when Hendrix wrote the lyrics to the song, that's what he had in mind, and that's the cool thing about music, is that you can interpret it in any way you like. So it gets a 7 out of 10. Originally recorded by California garage rock band The Leaves in 1966, since then it has become a classic rock staple, of course most notably covered by Hendrix, and it, just like All Along the Watchtower, it kind of outshines the original in every way, and guess what, motherfuckers, I even have the original. It's a bit more fast-paced, a bit more frantic. Hendrix's version is more relaxed, and it's more fun to listen to. So it gets a 7 out of 10. The next song we have is Lover Confusion. It's definitely one of the songs from the album that I enjoy while having the smoke, if you know what I'm talking about. Jimi's vocals have a cool echo effect while the instrumentals take the front and center of the mix. The track gets lost into the shuffle because of the amount of just sheer bangers on the album, so I feel like it's a bit of an underrated track that doesn't get talked about a whole lot with Hendrix's discography. And so for that, it gets a 7 out of 10. May This Be Love, it's a track, it's not one that I dislike, but it's definitely not one that's one of my favorites on the album either. It serves as a purpose by being a track to slow down the mood and provides a good bridge between Lover Confusion and the next song after that. It's the kind of track that I'd have in the background while I'm trying to grab a snack or something to do to kind of fill out my time in the meanwhile while listening to it and just getting ready for the next song. So it gets a 6 out of 10. It's, not good but not bad either. I Don't Live Today is one of those tracks that sound a lot better as a standalone track compared to the rest of the songs on the album. To me, I personally wish they replaced the song with Highway Child because I just fucking love Highway Child. It's one of my favorite Hendrix songs, and I did wish they included it on the older US versions of the album instead of the original. But for that, it gets a 5 out of 10. Moving right along, we have The Wind Cries Mary to open up side 2 of the album. It's another classic Hendrix jam in my opinion. It's a good track for chilling on a lazy day, or if you're looking for a breather for the rest of the album. It's not one of my favorites. It's one that I've heard countless upon countless times over the years. Even though I'll never necessarily get tired of it, it's one that I feel like I can go on listening without it. Like, I can hear every note in my head perfectly because I've heard that song so many times. Just like majority of the Washingtonians here. So for that, it does get a 6 out of 10. Fire is without a doubt one of the coolest songs throughout Hendrix's catalog. He didn't even do anything too crazy on it. For me, it was definitely the drums that fucking had the driving force of the track. It's definitely scorching, as the name suggests. It's a highlight of Mitch Mitchell's drumming skills, and it gets an 8 out of 10. Third Stone from the Sun is by far one of the more experimental songs on the album. It's also the longest one in the song, which is more than 6 minutes, while the rest of the album actually contains relatively short songs. And it's easily the song on the album meant for stoned and listening to. The melody of the track at the 1 minute mark kind of sounds like Dance with the Devil by Cozy Powell, which was released a few short years later on Chrysalis Records. I also have the 45 for that as well. If you listen closely, it definitely sounds similar, and you can hear the Hendrix influence in the song. It's one that I like listening to as a standalone track, and I also like listening to it on the album as well. So without fucking rambling on, it gets a 5 out of 10. So up next we have Foxy Lady, which has to be one of the more sexiest riffs in my opinion. There isn't really a whole lot for me to say on this song. Like, I just don't know what to say except for just listen to it for yourself. Like, it has one of the coolest riffs. It has like a really cool fucking solo. I like the way the song ends. Still trying to figure out why the fuck they left the E on the name of the song. So, but yeah, it gets a 7 out of 10. Then the last song on the album is the title track, Are You Experienced? It is more experimental than Third Stone from the Sun, and it has a majority of the guitars and the drum playing in reverse, which I think is kind of cool. As you guys know, the Beatles were the first musicians to really experiment with backmasking on their music, and it's just something that kind of like carried on throughout music in the 60s and 70s with like Pink Floyd and, like I said, Hendrix. He's used it in a few other tracks throughout his career. I like how it feels to only leave with one last note as like a mic drop. I like that little false finish there. Yeah, I know how to use a wrestling term, but it gets a 7 out of 10, just like some of the other songs on here. So, now we're here on the overall review. If I could describe this album with one word, it'll be timeless, with 6 of the most iconic tracks within his discography. Production, where the drums just sound crisp as all hell, the guitars are loud and upfront in the mix, which I love that. There are definitely some classic rock albums that would sound a lot better if the guitars were up front in the mix, and Hendrix proves that with Are You Experienced here. 2 songs that I wish would appear on the album but didn't are Highway Child and Red House. Those ones are on the UK versions. They have released them in later issues of Are You Experienced and on other compilations as well. But that out of the way, the album score as a whole gets a 7 out of 10, which is pretty much the standard, the metric for what gets to a good review in this album. If it's anything below a 7, it's kind of just okay or starts to dip. It starts dipping at 5 if it's a 5 out of 10. But enough of that said, if you guys like what I reviewed, that's cool. If you guys dislike it, that's also cool. If there's an album that you would like to see me review, please let me know in the comments. Let me know on my Instagram as well, because I've been heavily promoting my channel on there. I also have a TikTok, but I haven't really posted anything on there yet just because I'm too lazy to fucking figure it out, which I need to stop being lazy about, and I just need to get it the fuck done, which I'm going to try doing today. But yeah, tally ho.